my camera. And welcome to the Midnight Creepout. I am your host and creep mistress, Jessica Bryan. And with me, as always, is my friend and yours, and resident, the believer / straight man. Those two things don't mix. You can't be both of those things at once. Ben Scuria.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to be both of those things.
I love it. Okay. Ben, how's it going, man?
It's going great. Yeah, I would just watched. This is not necessarily a plug, but this week I was watching Midnight Mass, which is on Netflix. It's like a creepy miniseries by the guy who did Haunting of Hill House, and it's a pretty. I'll say this: the story is really fun. There's like a huge glaring thing that really bugs me that I can't talk about without ruining it. So after people watch it, we should watch it. We should talk about it.
Okay.
People also. There's a ton of monologuing. Like the acting is really good, but the writing is like it's a bunch of people like. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
I'm not selling it well.
And it's spoopy. It's for spoopy season.
It's for spoopy season for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. TVD has so much happening here. I also love the show's intro music. Squid Game is great, except for the last 15 minutes. So there you go. And Ben, when were you suspended in water or whatever it was?
It was the greatest. I did on Friday. I went to this place called Float, which does sensory deprivation.
Get the fuck out. Tell us all about it.
Dude, it was the greatest. So you go in and you get in this old, like, I mean, it's new, but it looks like it's from the 70s. It's like basically like a 3 foot tall by 3 foot wide or 4 feet wide box that's filled with body temperature water that has 400 pounds of Epsom salt. And you turn off all the lights in the room. There's like a switch, and you get there's a shower. Everything's in the room, and you shower, and then you get in this tank, and you close the door, and it's pitch black, and you're just floating, suspended in the water, and they give you earplugs because it's like so salty that you don't really want to get that in your ear. And so it's like you're just sort of in your head for an hour, and I'll tell you, it was fantastic. Not just because how often do we all just get to take an hour and do nothing,
right?
But I was I'm not going to say I was like tripping, but it's as close to tripping as you can get without taking drugs.
Wow.
There were a couple of times that I was just like imagining that I was on a beach at one point because my breathing sounded like waves crashing, and I was getting really into it. And like I highly recommend it.
That's awesome.
I was sober at the time, which for people were like, oh, maybe are you going to get high? And I was like, no, I'm going to check it out first. And then I said I'd either do it sober or very high. But like just a little bit high wouldn't make a difference because it makes you feel high anyway.
Yeah. So where is this place?
It's in Magoon Square. It's in Somerville. Right. Like it's a 10-minute walk from my house. I'm gonna become a member there. I'm gonna do it weekly.
No, really? Wow. Okay.
I think so.
How much was it?
Yeah, Blumpkin bread. I go to Float Lab in Londonderry. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's $80, but it's for 75 minutes that you're there because you get to shower, you get to be in the room, and if you become a member, that's only like $60 or $55 for each one. And so I mean it's a splurge, but I don't see a masseuse. I just would like to spend an hour floating in darkness. It was really highly recommendable.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool. It reminds me of Fringe. On Fringe, she went into the deprivation chamber to switch bodies with her like alter ego self or whatever in the other.
Yeah. There's also a movie called Altered State from the early 80s with William Hurt.
Oh yeah.
He takes a bunch of hardcore hallucinogens and gets into a sensory deprivation tank and literally regresses to a caveman form, like physically regresses. It's such a trippy fucking movie. I think it's a Ken Russell movie. It's really weird. You should check it out.
Yeah. What's it called?
It's called Altered States.
Altered States. Oh, yes. And Bryce says It's like year 11 when she wants to amplify her powers on Stranger Things.
Very,
Yeah.
very much like that. Though I
Yeah.
don't think I have any powers, but
Well, you never know.
yeah, TBD. It's definitely a movie to watch while high on drugs because there's like literally there's like a 10-minute tripping sequence in the middle of the movie.
All right. Well, I'll get real high and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's worth it, but it's a really dumb movie, but it's fun.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, so I've been great. How about yourself? How have you been?
Well, I'm great. Grace, my roomie and I, we won a fish at the Topsfield Fair. Now it lives in our living room. Her name is Farah because we got her at the fair. Farah Fawcett, but not like faucet, like water faucet. That's where we get her water. And when I went to PetSmart to buy a bowl for her to live in, we won her on a Saturday and I went on a Tuesday. And I was like, huh, because we had like a little tiny tank for her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went in and I couldn't find any bowls, so I went up to the fish guy and I was like, hey, I won a fish at the Topsfield Fair. And he goes, yeah, you and everyone else. They cleaned us out over the weekend. And I was like, oh my God, you guys must love the Topsfield Fair. It's hilarious. And like the fair's in Topsfield, and I went to the PetSmart in freaking Medford, like on the way to like Everett, Chelsea.
Hilarious.
I know. So I had to buy like a very expensive bowl with like a fucking carbon filter.
Be prepared. I'm not going to say it's the same, but my friend Taylor, she won the same type of thing, right? I assume you threw like a ping pong ball in the thing, and she won the same exact fish, and Oliver lived to be 13 years old. Goldfish fucking live if you're feeding them and the tank stays clean.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. TBD, you're absolutely right. It's a racket. So we paid $5 for a huge basket of balls and we sunk 3. Okay, we decided only to take one fish home. So we took a fish and then the guy was like, "Oh, do you need a tank to put it in? We sell these like little plastic boxes with rocks and fish food for $10." And we were like,
no.
We said
yes. I'll take it.
We bought it. And then, right, it's totally a racket. We spent $15 for a goldfish. And then I spent $50 more on all the stuff for her stupid bowl.
What is up, Stab Comedy? Coming in and raiding the room.
Greetings from
Sacramento. Appreciate your being here. Welcome to Midnight Creepout. It's about to get creepy. It's about to get a little...
it's about to get creepy.
Yeah.
Now, it is spooky season. As we said, it's spooky season. And so put it in the chat. And Ben, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite spooky season activity? And or what's your favorite horror movie?
It's funny you say that because my favorite spooky season activity is definitely watching like a good creepy movie.
Yeah.
Sitting on the couch. And for spooky season, I find very different from regular, because there are certain horror films I think are amazing, but I don't want to watch them all the time because they're too scary, they're too whatever. You just want to watch something that's just creepy enough. I'll tell you, the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie is a true favorite of mine. It is so scary, but also familiar in a point where it's almost comfortable now.
Yeah, yeah.
Rachel Animal. It Follows. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a scary one.
The Ring is really good.
Oh yeah, The Ring. I used to have. I'm sure I still do have it on DVD somewhere.
Oh yeah, of course, Babadook for sure.
Oh, I love the Babadook. Yeah. I love the Babadook. I think my favorite genre of spooky season movies, a cheap candy after Halloween. That's true, Adi. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think one of my favorite is like scary movies that don't take themselves too seriously. So, like Cabin in the Woods. I love Cabin in the Woods because then it's like all of a sudden it's like, no spoilers, but like it goes absolute apeshit crazy in the end.
Yeah, I would almost argue Cabin in the Woods isn't a horror film until maybe the last like 10 minutes, and even then it's like so over the top that it's definitely horror comedy for sure.
So, yeah, I would argue that it is a horror movie until the last 10 minutes. That I would argue the opposite.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Interesting. I love Cabin in the Woods, but I see Cabin in the Woods. Even the first time I saw it, it never scared me ever. Like, not for 1 second. I was just like, this movie's cool as hell. Like, I loved it. I was into it, but I never once had like
scared,
even a tingle of scared. So I was like, how can that be a horror film then? Like,
another favorite of mine is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Very good. I really love that one.
Slither. Have you watched Slither?
Okay, I have not, and I need to because I'm a huge Nathan Fillion fan, and I know
Slither's
that he's
disgusting. It's fantastic, but it's gross.
Stink Stank Stump says, "Is it just me or spooky season a term I've only started hearing this year? I don't know. I've been hearing it for several years. I think several years.
It's picking up. It's picking up speed for sure, though. It's becoming more of a thing. But yeah. Spoopy is brand new. Yeah, Spoopy is brand new, but spooky season, I think people have been using that for a long time. Yeah. All right. What are we getting into?
So we've covered the this topic, this idea, this category in our first episode about the Phoenix Lights.
True.
But refresh my memory, Ben. What are your views on UFO UAP phenomenon?
I believe in UFOs for sure. Yeah. I don't know what else. I don't.
What do you think they are? What do you think they are?
I mean, obviously, I don't believe that every single thing that people purport to be an alien is an alien, right? I think some of them are probably high-tech weaponry that no country wants to sort of acknowledge exists, or they're just weird drones that they're working on, or what have you. But I think some of them for sure certainly move like craft that are being powered by some sort of engine that we have no idea how it works. It seems stuff goes from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour really quickly.
Yeah, they do need to pass a citizenship, Bryce. You're right. We're gonna have to coming across the southern border is not gonna work for them.
But I do agree. Like, if aliens are extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them, if they are coming here, they are so far advanced that like they don't give a shit about us at this point. They're like looking at us and being like, nope. We'll be back later. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to invite an asshole to the party, and like we're still the asshole. Yeah,
right. We're like the Tiger King Zoo is what we are. I feel like to the aliens, they come here and they're like, Jesus Christ.
Well, they're like, this was us like millennia ago. You know what I mean? Like I feel like school trips come and they're like, look at these dumb apes. We used to be that.
School trips.
You know what I mean?
Like a field trips.
We're going to
elementary school. Yeah. That's hilarious. Look at their primitive technology. It's like, oh man.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight we are discussing what is probably my second favorite U.S. UFO sighting in history. It is the Chicago O'Hare UFO incident. Ben, chat, have you heard of this one before?
Personally, I have not heard of this one. Right. I every time we talked about it before this, I don't know why I equated it with the Denver International Airport being built. You know what I mean? And like there's Illuminati connotations with that, which we should cover in another episode for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I was thinking the other day, we didn't do a Denver Airport episode, did we?
No,
we did not. Okay, I'm gonna write that on the list.
And Denver Airport's fantastic. But no, so yeah, I don't know anything about this. I'm excited to learn about it.
Good. Well, it's a good one.
Exactly, I agree with Bryce Boy 84. I've heard of Mothman sightings at O'Hare, but not UFOs.
Oh, I have not heard of Mothman sightings. We're gonna have to tete-a-tete about that. Okay, so. This is a fun one. So in November, hold on, let me pull up. I gotta share.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Hold on.
Where is it? It's time.
Oh darn it. Here we go.
Time. And just if everybody, if you haven't watched the show before, just pay attention to the top of the screen when it pops up.
Oh, shut up. Listen. Leave me alone. Okay.
It's the best.
I gotta move it. Oh god, there's no good place for me to put it. I'll put it right here. Okay.
All right.
Okay. We want to present. I've done a bad job. How do I do this? Slideshow. You listen, okay.
There it is. Yeah.
If I had my own tech crew, it'd be fine. Okay. So, in November of 2006, an unidentified flying object was seen by more than 2006. A UFO was witnessed by more than a dozen people over Concourse C of the United Airlines terminal at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. So here is O'Hare International Airport from the sky. This little section down here is Concourse C. You can see more detail here. It was about 4:30 p.m., still daylight and overcast when a ramp worker who was pushing back United Airlines Flight 446 to Charlotte first spotted what was described as, quote, a flying saucer-like object hovering over the airport at gate C-17. So as you can see, gate C-17 is right here next to C-18. It'll be right here. Very exciting. Let's see.
So it was small then. It was a small craft. It was just hovering over one...
Yes. It was, yes.
Yeah.
But it was pretty high up. So at least 12 United employees and some other people outside the airport all witnessed what they described as a dark gray metallic object measuring between 6 and 24 feet in diameter, hovering just below the cloud deck at about 1,900 feet. Witnesses included ramp workers, mechanics, pilots, and one manager. Some said it appeared to be spinning, and others said they didn't observe it rotating at all. The pilots of the United plane being directed back from gate C-17, so that's flight 446, also were notified by United personnel of the sighting, and one of the pilots reportedly opened a window screen in the cockpit to get a better view of the object. Witnesses agreed that it had no lights and was silent as it hung over the airport for about 5 minutes before it suddenly shot up straight into the air, punching a near perfect hole through the clouds, revealing blue sky. Witnesses had a hard time visually tracking the object after that, and the hole was filled in by clouds a few minutes later. So that's the overview. Here are some reportedly pictures. So here's the thing with these pictures. Part of the problem with it, it's 2021 and this happened in 2006, is that I cannot find the original source of these photos. However, in some audio we're going to listen to later, they do say someone snapped a picture of it. So I'm not sure, I don't know. I mean, this is obviously...
This is in 2006. That cell phones existed then, right?
Yeah, and this is... But think about it, Ben. I got my first cell phone in 2004, and I couldn't even... my pictures looked worse than this. So...
They took that photo of the Game Boy. Yeah.
I know, right? Okay, but here's the thing. Think back to 2006. First of all, most cell phones did not have very good cameras, right? You were getting 2 megapixels on those bad boys, right?
It's like a flip phone, right?
Right. It was a flip phone. Yes. Yeah, in 2006, I owned a flip phone. Yes. Hi, MLab. Thanks. I appreciate that. And then I also had a digital camera, but it's not like that's something I carried around with me at the airport. You know what I mean? If I was or if I'm just doing my job somewhere, I don't have my camera on me. I brought it to parties. That's what I did with it. Here's another one. Here's one with something zoomed in, right? So that's this same photo, but with a little zoom in, enhanced. It's enhanced. So this happened November. It was the end of the month. I want to say it was November 6th in 2006. So a mechanic who spoke to the Chicago Tribune, a few weeks later said, quote, this is a mechanic, I tend to be scientific by nature, and I don't understand why aliens would hover over a busy airport, but I know what I saw, and what a lot of other people saw stood out very clearly, and it definitely was not an Earth aircraft. A United manager said he ran outside his office in Concourse B after hearing the report about the sighting on an internal airline radio frequency. I stood outside, quote, I stood outside in the gate area, not knowing what to think, just trying to figure out what it was, he said. I knew no one would make a false call like that, but if somebody was bouncing a weather balloon or something else over O'Hare, we had to stop it because it was in very close proximity to our flight operations. Several independent witnesses outside of the airport also saw the object. One described a disc-shaped craft hovering over the airport, stating that it was, quote, obviously not clouds. All the witnesses...
Thanks.
Right?
Those were clouds.
But that's what they always explain it away as, right? And we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
So all the witnesses to the O'Hare event, who included at least several pilots, said they are certain based on the disc's appearance and flight characteristics that it was not an airplane, helicopter, weather balloon, or any other craft known to man. It was so vivid and disturbing to one United employee that his coworkers said he, quote, experienced some religious issues over the incident.
Does that mean he quit his church? Or
I
he
guess.
joined one? One of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two.
Right?
The quitter joined.
Yeah. No air traffic controller saw the object, and it did not show up on radar. Right? If that's what it required, if seeing a UFO was what it required to have some like religious issues, oh boy, nobody would have religious issues, but I feel like a lot of people do. Apparently I've seen a million UFOs. It means he got a tattoo.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, he had an instant stigmata. So a couple weeks later,
it would fuck me up. To be fair, I think it would fuck me up pretty bad if I saw a UFO.
It would not fuck me up. It would validate everything in my life. I would be so happy and thrilled. I feel like Bryce would agree. I would be so happy. I would cry. Let me tell you what it would be like. For me, it would be like seeing Jesus Christ rise from the dead and make a blind man see. I'm not kidding. I would weep. I would be so happy.
No,
I don't care. It wouldn't matter.
Okay.
It wouldn't matter because I knew I would know. I mean,
gotcha.
Obviously, it would be way better if I saw it with a bunch of other people, right? Like, obviously, or if I got like good footage of it, which no one ever does. But like, but here's the thing, though, right? People always complain about, oh, you didn't get a everyone carries around a camera these days. But if it was me, I'd be like, this is me seeing a fucking UFO. Holy shit! What the fuck? Oh my! Is that? Oh my God! Is that what I think it is? No. Yeah, it is. Holy shit! I better get my camera. Oh! Hold on. Oh God! Oh, where's my fucking camera app? Hold on. Here we go. I gotta unlock. Oh, I messed it up. I gotta unlock the screen. Okay, now I gotta find the camera. Now I gotta put it up. Now I gotta zoom in, and it's gone. That is what would happen. So
there's a game for your iPhone that came out like a few years ago where you're trying to film a UFO in the sky. Like it's like grainy and your phone is your phone, but like it's moving around, right? It zigzags and you're trying to follow it with your phone and keep it in focus and in frame, and it's harder than it looks. I will give you that.
Listen, Blumpkin Bread, I totally prefer to rock the no password life, but I have to do it for work because I have like secret emails, so I can't. Okay.
Emails.
I have secret emails. So a couple weeks after this happened, people started talking to the Tribune, the Chicago Tribune, and the United employees interviewed by the Tribune spoke on condition of anonymity. Some said they were interviewed by United officials and instructed to write reports and draw pictures of what they observed, and that they were advised by United officials to refrain from speaking about what they saw.
Did they have to talk to the Men in Black?
So there were no reports of the Men in Black in this one. Right. But I was looking into another one where some Men in Black kind of showed up. So maybe we'll do that one. What was it? The Renfield or something. It was in England.
Oh.
Okay. So here's a point that a lot of the things that I was looking at brought up, and it didn't occur to me at first. So this happened in 2006, right? This was only 5 years after 9/11. So a bunch of people are witnessing something over an airport. And Ben, you and I are old enough to remember, but maybe not everyone in the chat is, that like airport security post 9/11 was absolutely fucking insane, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It still is. It's not as bad as it used to be, but like
back then you were guaranteed dudes with machine guns. Now it's just every now and then you'll see like the dude with the machine gun in the terminal. This was like dudes with machine guns every terminal, everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Bryce, you're older than I am. So I know that you're not. But to be fair, he's never been to an airport. Born and raised in wherever he is right now. Born and raised in Starved Rock State Park in Illinois. Never to leave again. So you know, you would think that an object like this showing up in protected airspace over an airport would warrant a significant response, right? Do you remember when that guy flew his like homemade helicopter over the White House?
Yep, that's just what I was thinking about for this kind of thing.
Right? People, they fucking went insane. They tackled him to the ground. It was a whole thing. So you would think that they would take this seriously, but you would be wrong. So at first, both United and the FAA denied that they had any information on the UFO O'Hare sighting. A United spokeswoman, Megan McCarthy, initially told the Chicago Tribune, quote, "There's nothing in the duty manager log, which is used to report unusual incidents. I checked around. There's no record of anything," which isn't true. Similarly, the FAA told the Tribune that it had no information on the sighting. So then, like they do, the Tribune filed a Freedom of Information Act request, which triggered the FAA.
Journalists.
Right? So this triggered the FAA to order an internal review of air traffic communications tapes, in which they uncovered a call by the United supervisor to an FAA manager in the airport tower.
Uh-oh.
United also had logged reports of the sighting in their own internal documents. So,
yep, government cover up is right, Blumpkin
they
bread.
both deny it, right? They're both denying it. So I happen to have gotten a copy.
Now that makes me feel military. You know what I mean?
Makes you feel military.
Yeah, like I feel like the military would be a. You know what I mean? Like that's why everybody's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things it didn't seem super credible. Who knows, right? But one of the things I was looking at, there was a guy who said that in the tower they have access to be able to contact the military right away, and so like they probably got involved. I don't know, right? I have no idea, but could be. So I actually have audio with transcript of the call they're talking about. So, Ben, if you want to throw it up there.
Blair Tower, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave, it's Sue from United Tower.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, did you see a flying disc out by C-17?
Oh, don't even start, Sue. Flying disc.
Sue.
The pilot and the ramp guys are telling us the C-17, they saw some flying disc above, and we can't see above us.
Come on, Sue.
You didn't see it, right?
You guys been celebrating the holidays already on there, or what? You having a Christmas party today? I have not seen anything, Sue. And if I did, I wouldn't admit to it. No, I have not seen any flying disc at Gate C-7. Unless you got a new aircraft you're bringing out today that we don't know about. No, I have not seen anything, Sue.
All right.
If I do, I don't know what I'll do. If I see, I guess I'll back it up with you. But no, I'll
So that's at 4:30. This is right after the sighting occurred. So this is at 4:47. By the time this call happens, it's gone. It's already gone.
Because I called him?
No.
This is Sue from United.
Yes?
There was a disc out there flying around.
There was a what?
A disc.
A disc? Can you hang on 1 second?
Sure, Dwight.
This is where Dwight goes and tells all his
Okay, I'm
friends to
sorry.
listen in.
What can I do for you now?
All right. I told Dave there was a disc flying outside above Charlie 17, and he thought I was pretty much high. But I'm not high and I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Someone actually has a picture of it. So if you guys see it out there,
A disc? Like a frisbee?
like a UFO type thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a picture of it.
How high above Charlie 17?
Well, it was above our tower. So if you happen to see anything,
You know what? I'll keep a peeled eye for that.
all right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Tower Cab, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave, Roger, over at United AGC.
Yeah, Roger.
I have an interesting one for you, Dave, here. Some of our employees, I don't know if you heard anything about this, some of our pilots on the ground were reporting a UFO sighting at 1,000 feet from the seaside of the airport. Did you guys hear anything about
You
that?
know what? The ramp tower called me, I want to say about 10, 15 minutes ago. We have not seen anything up there.
Okay.
Because she said it was right around gate C-17.
Okay.
But, I mean, and since she called, I've been looking, but we have not seen anything.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if we do, oh well, I guess, you know.
Well, no, I was just wondering. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll have to give him 27 right.
Yeah, I know. Either that or you guys unveiled a brand new aircraft that I didn't tell anybody about.
Well, Dave, it's the second
But,
time you used
no, we
that
have not
joke.
seen
I
anything,
know,
but
right?
We will surely keep an eye out, that's for sure.
Thank you very much.
No problems.
Fine.
I gotta cue that.
Fucking Dave.
Fucking Dave.
Ground Gateway 5668, send the penalty box ready to go to the North Port.
Gateway 5668, you can use Alpha to Northport and use caution for the UFOs.
Alpha to the North Port, we'll take a look.
Use caution for
United
the,
Maintenance 44.
Okay, it's 44. Thank you.
All right.
44 is going around to Northport.
Excellent.
You got Eagle and SkyWest over here
Yeah.
coming around this way. He's turning in no factory. You really got no other gate holds.
All right.
Somebody reported a UFO or a flying disc above Charlie Concourse. Seriously.
Excellent.
Yeah. So nobody
I'll
can
keep my eyes open.
nobody can see it, but use caution.
All right.
And that's pretty much it. Gateway 5668.
5668, go ahead.
Yeah, look out your window. Do you see anything above United's concourse? They actually, believe it or not, they called us and said somebody observed a flying disc about 1,000 feet above the gate Charlie 17. You see anything over there?
Not that I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, I thought my job was stressful.
We saw it a half hour ago.
Who saw it?
A whole bunch of us over at the Charlie Concourse.
He was not
Really?
expecting
Yes,
that.
did. Who's this?
Yep.
The United taxi mechanics. Thought it was a balloon, but we're not sure.
So what's interesting to me is that that's where the tape ends, right? And I'm sure that they continued talking about it after that. But for some reason, all that was released was this section. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Don't even start, Sue.
Yeah, right? Don't even start, Sue. I love how like JFK made a little. Did you hear the guy who sounded like JFK? He made a little,
yeah.
a little debut, a little cameo. Is the word I'm trying to think of. Kind of fun.
That's crazy.
Very fun.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Right? I love that. I love them all talking about it. But it's unfortunate because by the time they're like talking about it, it's already gone, right? Like, so they said like they saw it between like somewhere between 4:15 and 4:30. No one seems to know the exact time. But it was only there for 5 minutes, and then it shot straight up into the clouds. And
What's
punched.
going on?
Yeah. Hey, abolish the Senate. I was wondering if you were going to show up. Sorry, I didn't see your message in the Discord until today. Sorry, friend. Okay, so if you want to throw this back up there, Ben.
Yeah, of course I do.
So it punched a hole in the clouds that looks maybe something like this. I don't know where to
Sure
put it.
did.
Right here. So this isn't a picture of it. This is a picture of a similar cloud. Sorry. Okay, so the FAA's official stance is that the sighting was caused by a weather phenomenon, and therefore the agency would not be investigating the incident. FAA spokeswoman Elizabeth Isham Corey told the Tribune, quote, "That night was perfect atmospheric conditions in terms of low cloud ceiling and a lot of airport lights. When the lights shine up into the clouds, sometimes you can see funny things." Okay, first of all, Elizabeth, it was daylight. The sun had not set yet. It was 4:30 p.m. on November 6th. Okay, so the sun doesn't start sinking until at 4:30 until like December, until like December 21st, until the solstice, right? So that's annoying to me. But whatever. So according to Mark Hammergren, an astronomer at the Adler Planetarium in Chicago, which if you can get to the Adler Planetarium in Chicago, you should go.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one there. If you can't get to see the bears, you should go to the Adler Planetarium, okay? Weather conditions on the day of the sighting were right for a hole punch cloud, also known as a fall streak cloud, an unusual weather phenomenon that can happen on cold, cloudy days. Quote, "It's something that occurs when a propeller or jet airplane passes through when you have uniform cloud cover and the temperature is right near the freezing point, end quote. Hammergren explained, quote, they make liquid water droplets freeze and a hazy disk of ice crystals descends from a hole and it looks like a perfect hole punched in the cloud. So this is what hole punch clouds look like. There's one. There's another. Oh, right there's another there. There's one right there.
Those are cool.
There's another one right there. So here's the thing about all of these that you'll notice, right? They are not perfect holes. There's clouds in them, right? And those clouds in the center of them, those are the falling ice crystals, okay, that can leave a perfect hole that looks a little bit more like this one, right?
Okay.
So the thing is, if you're witnessing this happen, you're going to see that part happen, right? So that was not reported by anyone. They didn't report, like, you know,
weird ice falling.
Things like, you know, like clouds falling and then there's a circle in the set. They reported that the UFO shot straight up into the air, and this is over 12 witnesses, right? And we're talking credible folks, right? So it shoots straight up into the air and punches a hole through the clouds.
Not like you or me.
Exactly. I don't, you know, that does annoy the shit out of me. I was thinking about that, Ben, because they say whenever they talk about this stuff, they say including pilots. Oh, like pilots saw it too, because, you know, mechanics and ramp workers are just blue collar people who go home and drink PBR after work. Like they're somehow not credible. Fuck you, you know. Also, pilots, not, you know, whatever, but they're like the third highest industry to you know, be high all the fucking time, drunk and high, and like substance abusers. So, you know,
glass houses and shit. Yeah, fuck
exactly.
Pilots. You know what? Fuck pilots.
Fuck pilots. You know what?
That's Creepout's official stance.
Listen, they take off and they land, and everything in between is done by a computer.
Even landing's mostly done by a computer now at this point too. Takeoffs are really the only thing they're doing.
Bryce says it's their job to be high, technically. In fact, he said hi. Pilot pens are pretty good though. Okay, so even if this like weather phenomenon did occur, that gives no explanation for the UFO that people saw for the 5 minutes before that, right? Okay, and I already said that part. So either way, you would think that any anomalous sightings at an airport would raise alarms.
Right.
The Center for UFO Studies scientific director Mark Roediger, agrees with me.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he told a reporter, quote, it's an unknown object over O'Hare, and it's seen by official personnel. And does United or the FAA take it seriously? Of course not. They have zero interest because UFOs can't exist. But how can you not worry about something hovering over an airport after 9/11? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. You know, and like assuming this is like a real photo, right? Assuming this is like the actual photo that someone took, which that makes sense. Someone got this one and then a couple seconds later.
That's my thing about the Senate. Not to interrupt, but like post 2006, I feel like there were fucking video cameras everywhere pointing. I guess they weren't pointing 1,000 feet up in the sky.
I mean, listen, I don't know why, but they don't release videos for whatever. I don't know why, but they do this shit all the time. And it only serves to create opportunities for people to come up with crazy conspiracy theories. I think one of the biggest things, like people always talk about how there's no video of a plane crashing into the Pentagon on 9/11. And that like, how you're fucking telling me that the Pentagon didn't have cameras at the Pentagon. You know what I mean? There's no cameras outside the Pentagon. I don't believe that for shit. And like they also, it's like documentaries reported that they like went and like to the local like a gas station and like took their CCTV footage of the plane. Why? You know, like people saw the plane. Obviously it happened, but they like covered up all the video evidence of it. I don't understand why.
Yeah, that's really weird. I agree with you.
You know, like
I never thought about that before, but yeah, of course there's footage of that, other footage of that.
Right.
The only
of course there is.
footage was not a CCTV from across the street. Yeah,
Right.
there's the fucking Pentagon.
Right.
They've
So
got cameras on top of the Pentagon, probably in every single direction.
Right. It's O'Hare International Airport. After 9/11, you think they don't have a super heightened security? So where's all the camera footage? You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Not
I
available.
feel like it would be so easy for them to deny this stuff. Like, I just don't understand what the point is. It's really strange. I don't know. Anyway, Richard Haynes, who is the science director at the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena, and so this guy's also former chief of Space Human Factors Office, the Space Human Factors Office at NASA's Ames Research Center, told
Right.
journalists, quote, "There have been documented cases where safety appears to have been implicated, and more we're coming to the point of view that we are dealing with an intelligent phenomenon. We must be proactive before an aircraft goes down." Haynes investigated the O'Hare incident and said he has determined that no weather balloons were launched in the vicinity of O'Hare on November 7th. Oh, sorry, it was November 7th, not November 6th. It's absurd that the military would be conducting aerial flights near the airport, he said. Yes, NARCAP. Yes, abolish the Senate. NARCAP. Good for you.
What is NARCAP for those of us who don't know?
Is that the National? Yeah, the National
Thank you,
Aviation
boss.
Reporting Center for Anomalous Phenomena.
I was wondering what it was, so I appreciate that. And then that's fantastic. NARCAP.
And then I also want to bring this up. So in my research for this episode, I came across another sighting of a UFO just, I guess it was 7 days earlier in Tinley Park, a suburb of Chicago. It's southwest of the city. So in Tinley Park, there's been a series of lights in the sky that's happened several times over maybe over the course of like 2 years. It happened in 2004 to 2006, and I think there's been more since then. The only thing about that, though, is that 2 of them occurred on Halloween, which makes me think that someone's just like pulling pranks. You know what I mean? But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, that seems weird.
And so, you know, we don't know what happened over O'Hare. You know, and it's not like just one Looney Tune saw it. These are people who stood to lose their job for reporting false things, right? Like you work at an airport and you report a false sighting of an aircraft,
UFO,
right? Like you're gonna lose your fucking job, right? But at least a dozen people reported it. Probably more than that saw it, right? Because, you know, people who reported it versus people who saw it is usually 2 different numbers. So we may never know. But, you know, they did try to act like it didn't happen, although clearly it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. It's crazy. So
no, Sue definitely kept her job. Sue
oh,
is
yeah.
a champion.
Yeah.
It would be like Dave to try to throw Sue under the bus, but I don't think he could. She always laughs at his jokes. Like that's why
true.
you know that she laughed at that joke more than the other guy did when he told it again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
Dave and Stu had some banter there. I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, maybe went out and got a drink.
Oh, maybe he was jealous. Maybe he thought there was a holiday party and he wasn't invited. And he's like, how am I supposed to get with Stu if I'm not at the holiday party? Right? I don't know. I'm just saying. What the fuck, Dave?
Jesus.
What the fuck? What does that even mean? Explain yourself, Dave Thomas. Explain yourself right now.
Boo.
Boo. So that is the Chicago O'Hare UFO incident. It is, you know, pretty well documented in official reports. After the FOIA, request, then it came out that it was well documented. It's, one of those ones that's got a lot of people seeing it. When there's multiple humans who saw the thing, that always creates for a little bit more credibility. So it's a good one. It was actually listed on the History Channel's top 5 most credible UFO sightings of all time. It was number 4 on the list. Don't worry, we'll get to the other 4. I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Do it. We can do it.
Yeah, the Phoenix Lights weren't on there, and I was like, okay, listen, you've lost all credibility with me if you're saying that the Phoenix Lights isn't the number 1 most credible incident, because 600 people saw it, but okay, whatever. No, that's not even true. Okay, they had 700 reports. 700 reports again, which means way more than that actually saw it.
So what do you think it was?
I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't see it. I don't know.
Like, does it feel credible to you? You've read a lot of these things.
I think, oh God, what a great question. I think they saw some. I mean, people definitely saw something. What they saw, we don't know, but it's worth finding out. That's the thing that drives me crazy. Personally, I think it's worth finding out what the fuck it was, So why do they act like, oh, I don't know, no big deal. We don't fucking know, right? It's like, I just saw your private chat. We'll figure it out. It just drives me crazy. Like, they saw something. Like, we should probably find out what. Just like you said,
Yeah.
I guess it's possible that it's either our own secret aircraft. But first of all, they wouldn't be doing that at the airport, right? That doesn't make any sense. So they wouldn't be doing that at the airport. So it's not ours. I guess it could be somebody else's. But again, that seems crazy. It didn't show up on radar, but it's 2006. Radar has improved quite a bit since then. In fact, they actually, I think I read something about how they have improved radar systems now at O'Hare. Not necessarily because of this incident, but it was tangentially informational. I don't know, information that was pertinent. So I don't know. So in watching the videos for this and listening to people talk about it, I was looking at, because it was number 5 on that list, was the one of the ones that the Navy released this year. So for those of you who don't know, in April of 2020, the Navy released 3 videos of unidentified aerial phenomena that were recorded by Navy pilots who were testing, I forget what the heck it's called, but it's some sort of like new Raytheon radar technology.
Yeah.
It's not a plane. It's a radar technology
Gotcha.
that allows you to capture like moving objects.
That's what I mean. It follows the planes, right? It like sort of on its own.
I don't remember.
Is that not what the thing I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. I could be wrong. And they were leaked to, I want to say, the New York Times in 2017. And so in 2020, but it's so funny, it's so fucking funny to me that a global pandemic starts in March of 2020, and then they decide in April of 2020 is when they're going to release this shit. And of course, the UFO community, obviously was like, wow, over this shit, right? But the general public, it got quite overshadowed, right, by coronavirus news, justifiably so.
Right. There's a reason, though, that they released it when they did, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
And so they said that they released it to clear up any sort of misconceptions in the public about whether or not the video footage was real or whether or not the footage that they got was the whole product. And as I'm watching these little tic tac shaped things fly at, they're at 25,000 feet. They're flying super, super fast, and people have tried to explain it away as oh, well, it's a duck and it's flying over the water. And the reason it looks like it's fat. No, it was at 25,000 feet. Ducks don't fly at 25,000 feet, first of all, right? That's insane. It's totally possible that it's Russian or Chinese, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Super ducks.
I think it makes
Mighty ducks, in fact.
That it's just a bunch of alien school kids being like, this is a human airport. This is their version of a plane.
Yeah.
It's not as fancy as ours.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, ooh.
I know, right? So Abolish the Senate. So Abolish the Senate said, I have to say, Sue sounded like she was suppressing laughter throughout those clips, though. Maybe that's just her voice. So what I heard, so being a woman who's had to say things to people, especially men, in leadership situations, there are times where I have to say stuff and I laugh to alleviate the tension, right? And, it could just be, my feminist chip on my shoulder. But in her voice, that is what I heard, right? So Sue is the manager at the United Tower. And she's talking to the man at the air traffic control tower, right? And right, thank you, Adi. And that she's like, haha, isn't that crazy? We saw a UFO, but like, did you see it though? But did you see it? Like someone, she has to be like, someone has a picture of it. Like we have a picture of it, like
Yeah, it's interesting.
Like she has to prove it because she knows no one's going to believe her. One, because she's talking about fucking UFOs, first of all. And then two, and again, it could just be my feminist chip on my shoulder and having been in that situation myself. But like now she is a woman in a leadership position trying to tell a man in a leadership position something that's absolutely wild, right? I don't know. That's what
I think there's a little of that for sure, but I think mostly it's number one. It's a UFO. Because not only does she do that, every single one of them when they're talking about it laughs.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Because you're basically like, I'm fucking crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I heard. It wasn't necessarily sexist, but I hear you can speak to that, and I definitely that makes sense. But it also I heard even when two dudes are talking to each other, like he was like, yeah, I don't know, we didn't really see, right? It was like, whoa, I guess they were partying too much. Like our brains don't, right? We can rationalize so much shit before we just accept fucking something crazy, right? So yeah.
I mean, I do think that a lot of times my perception are colored by the lens of my experience, right? So who knows? I don't know.
I might have been there for sure. But fuck Dave. I'm sure Dave.
Yeah. Fuck Dave. Fuck that guy. Not you, Dave Thomas. I mean, a little bit because of your previous comment, but like,
Oh, what a roller coaster.
So crazy. Oh, and Ben, I keep meaning to tell you about this. So last time on the Midnight Creepout, we talked about creepypasta. We talked about Slenderman and the Slenderman. And you read the creepypasta, The Russian Sleep Experiment.
Yeah.
Well, just this past week, one of my favorite channels, Watcher, who which is run by Shane and Ryan. Shane, why can't I think of his last name? Shane something. I'm going to say Bidet. Shane Madej. It's not Bidet. That's a toilet accessory. Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara, formerly of BuzzFeed Unsolved fame. They did an episode of Are You Scared? About the Russian sleep experiment.
Oh.
So they read the Russian sleep experiment and they hire an illustrator to make pencil sketches of an artist's rendition of what it was. Man. And I'm going to put it in the Discord. I keep meaning to send it to you, Ben. So terrifying. Yeah, I'll put it up in the Discord tonight so you can check it out. Watcher and BuzzFeed Unsolved definitely were an inspiration for this show. So I love that shit. You should binge it. You should get high. You should go to the deprivation tank, and then you should watch this first, binge it, then go to the deprivation tank and have a fantastic spoopy weekend.
Oh man, that's gonna be the best. That's gonna be the best. What else you got going on?
Well, let's see. On Sundays, I do Simply the Jess at 7 p.m. So you can catch that right here on 2MB Studios. And then also, Quarantine Action Wrestling. I think 2MB said it was the flagship show of the channel, which I don't know if that's the case, but okay. Yeah, exactly. It's the flagship show is coming to a spectacular end. And we have more episode.
We drove dump trucks of money up to David's house trying to get him to keep going, and he laughed at us and just sent them away. He said, "No,
absolutely not."
Fair
And so,
enough.
yes, so we have one final episode of Pandemic, which is Thursday, October 21st at 8 p.m. And that will be leading into our series finale, which is pay-per-view style, but obviously it's free, which will happen on Sunday, October 24th. David, if you're still in the chat, I don't know exactly what time, but I do know
it's going to be like 2 p.m. or something.
Yeah, right.
It's going to
It
be
has to
real
start
early.
because it's very
it is
long.
a long show. We're
I think
talking
right
like
now
6+ hours. I
yeah,
think.
we're looking at 6+ hours.
Get those diapers.
Exactly. So you're gonna want to get your snacks, your drinks, your adult diapers, right? You might want to get a pair of sunglasses.
Lock the kids in the car.
Lock the kids in the car. Put the dogs outside. Put the kids in the car.
Yeah.
And yeah, make sure that you're there because I have 2 characters whose stories are coming to a close.
Oh man, I wish I could float during it. I wish like there was a TV on the ceiling and I could just lay in the tank and watch TV.
How much would that run you? $80 an hour and 6 hours plus?
Antithesis of what that tank is for.
Right. So you're definitely going to want to check that out again. Yes, as TVAD put in the chat 10, 24, 21, probably somewhere around 2 p.m. You're going to want to check in and make sure that you catch the series finale of Quarantine Action Wrestling. And then, of course, you're going to want to come back here to the Midnight Creepout on October 29th at midnight. Ben, where can we find you outside of the Midnight Creepout?
Tuesday nights, I'm usually found on the channel doing something at 9 p.m. Sometimes it's what's going on, which is like a weekly roundtable. Sometimes we're just playing games and hanging out. It's always a fun time. I often have been doing a bunch of Monday stuff too with Grand Theft Auto, but I start teaching my class this coming Monday, so I'm going to be on hiatus for that for a few weeks.
And Ben, what class are you teaching?
I'm teaching a class at the new comedy studio called Union Comedy. It's an improvisational comedy theater and studio space down at 593 Somerville Avenue. And you can check us out on unioncomedy.com. We got all sorts of fun stuff going on and all sorts of show opportunities and educational opportunities. So check it out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And as I said, of course, on October 29th, Friday, October 29th, at midnight, I guess technically that makes it the 30th, but you know what I mean at this point. You can find us here at 2MB Studios. Next week, I don't know. I think we've got to do something spooky, scary. We got to do ghosts, right? I feel like we have to do ghosts on the 29th. What do you think, Ben?
I think ghost sounds great. I think something ghosty for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do some. Maybe we'll do some local ghosts. Maybe we'll do King's Chapel Burying Ground. Nobody look too much. Ghosts. Don't look too deep into it, but it sounds very fun.
Forget that you said that.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that you'll come back next time. But most of all, we hope
you're
creeped out.